Welcome to the Angel Empowerment Show from I Can't to I Can with your host, Cindy Smith, and co-hosts. In this show, airing every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, gain more insight and practical, intuitive tools to bring more clarity and purpose into your daily life. You can listen or be involved in live professional angel card readings on transformationtalkradio.com so you can heal, thrive, and grow in your life. And you'll experience it all with 4 of the best in the field. The Angel Empowerment Show starts now.
Hello and welcome. I'm Nola Peacock, and I'm here with my co-host, Deb Weinberger. And we had a few technical difficulties, so she is on the phone with us. So you are listening to the Angel Empowerment Show from I Can't to I Can on Transformation Talk Radio. So stay with us for the next hour and learn how Deb and I help to support highly sensitive kids so that they can feel more at ease, experience fewer meltdowns, and even sleep better. So during the first half, we are going to share with you tips on how to reduce your meltdowns for sensitive kids. And in the second half, you can call in with questions or receive an angel card reading. So please call the number on your screen, which is 1-800-930-2819, or you can put your info in the chat, and I'll talk more about that after our first break. And remember to tune in every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and 9 Eastern, where we will help you understand how you can move from I can't to I can simply by asking. So first, I just want to share a little bit about Deb and I. We are both sensitive, and we have both have adult sensitive children as well. And we have worked with many kids who are highly sensitive. So over the years, we have gained a lot of experience and learned how to best parent highly sensitive kids. And tonight, as I said, we want to share the 3 keys to make it easier for parents that have sensitive kids. So first, I'd like to just share, what do we mean when we talk about a highly sensitive child? And what you'll notice about sensitive kids is that they have big reactions to things. So, whether they're, being upset or, excited about something, they're, usually a bit over the top. They also feel things very deeply. So if, it's something, and to you, it might seem really small, but to them, it's, it's like the world is caving in on them. They worry more. They have, often are nervous about things or worrying about things, and very, you may be described as really deep thinkers or old souls. They just worry about so many things. They're often nervous about trying new things. Like they meet the kid that stands on the sidelines and just watches their friends do things. They're much more prone to having big meltdowns, which can be really tough on parents. They tend to lean toward perfectionism. I know that's something that I've struggled with for many years, and they're often very self-conscious. Deb, is there anything that you would like to add? Things that you've seen with your kids or with clients that you work with?
Yeah. So hi, it's different to be just a voice on instead of on camera. But anyway, thank you, Lydia, for getting me on here. One of the things that I wanted to add to that too is that sensitive children often are what we would call OCD, or they get labeled with their OCD or their ADD or ADHD. But also know that it's not limited to those that have been diagnosed with something like that. So even though they can work with medical professionals to assist in those, some of the strategies that we have can also complement that.
Absolutely.
So,
Deb,
and
sorry.
Go ahead, Nola.
I was going to ask you why. I want you to share why you're so passionate about helping these sensitive kids. Share a bit about your story.
Yeah, so as you had mentioned, Nola, you and I are both sensitive. For me, what that looked like as a child, I was very self-conscious. I was sensitive to energies around me, and I didn't understand it, and there was no word for it. And we're talking in the 60s. He didn't talk about that stuff. And so I knew even then, growing up in a Catholic home, my parents had taught me about the guardian angels. So I would pray to the guardian angels at nighttime to help me, because I felt stuff, right? And not recognizing and not knowing that that's what it is. And when I became an adult and really started learning about sensitivities, empaths, and how much the angels can assist and techniques to assist, I started looking back and thinking how much different my life would have been had my parents known, or had I been given these tools. But no one knew about it. No one talked about it. So that's when I really wanted to learn, how can I help kids today? Now, having said that, I did work with, like I say, guardian angels. I had been an angel person even before I got training as an angel empowerment practitioner. And one of the things I remember, because sometimes when kids are sensitive, you can tell them all you want about, you're not alone, the angels are with you, but sometimes they need something physical. So for an example, one of my daughters loved school. From kindergarten, she couldn't wait to go. And it was, about, a couple of months into the grade 2 year, so she'd been 7, and I went for parent-teacher interviews. And the teacher said to me, she's having a really hard time. She's very anxious when she gets here. She's quite upset. And I'm thinking, first of all, why didn't anyone tell me sooner? And I didn't understand what was happening. So when I had a little chat with her, she didn't understand either. She just knew she wasn't feeling comfortable. So I had a little guardian angel pin, and we took it and we pinned it to her waistband every single day. And I told her that this is a reminder that her angels are with her, and this is mommy sending her love with her too. And she even, we talked about it the other day, and she said it really helped. It really helped her to make those steps towards school, and the anxiety started going away, and she was feeling, because she knew she wasn't alone. So it's having that physical tool, and then also knowing that she wasn't alone. And she even reminded me about when she was a young adult. She came home from a relationship. She moved back home for a little while, brokenhearted, and I gave her another angel pin, and she goes, Mom, it was just special. It really helped me. So even as adults, that stuff helps. So it's those things that have made me really want to assist our children today, because our children today, like my grandchildren and this generation, are coming in highly sensitive, but we're recognizing it and we're going to help them. And that's the difference. How about you, Nola? I know.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, I think I wasn't as lucky as you. I didn't have parents that talked about angels and stuff. So I had to kind of figure out things on my own. But with my daughter, she, as a young girl, like 2.5, 3, she was so anxious. Like, even if I would go upstairs and she was on the main floor, she would freak out and, have these meltdowns that we talk about. And also, if we would go somewhere in the car, she was constantly asking me if we were lost. And, again, watching on the sidelines. And one of the hardest things was getting her to bed and to sleep in her own room and in her own bed. And, I hate to say how long that, how old she was, and she was still crawling into my bed. And at the time, like, I just, I thought, well, maybe I was doing something wrong. And I worked with a psychologist and, did the things that they recommended. But now that, thankfully, I learned about the angels and became an angel empowerment practitioner. And, now my daughter and I, we've, talked about this, and she was seeing spirits. So no wonder she didn't want to sleep in her bed. And of course, I didn't know anything about it. So, and now to work with clients and be able to, have them share those kind of things and, teach them some tools and have things like change for them overnight. Like, I'll never forget one of my little clients. He was 6 and he had been bullied. Every day he'd go to school and was being bullied, and gave him some tools. And I remember him coming back the next week to see me, and he just goes, "Guess what?" And I said, "What?" And he goes, "All the kids are being nice to me." And I'm just like, oh. So, that is just makes me want to help more and more kids, because I hear so many children having a hard time. And, we've got the tools to help them to make it easier. So before we continue, I just want to make sure that everyone knows how to get a hold of us if you have, questions, or you're got sensitive kids in your family and you need some more advice. So Deb, how can people reach you?
Yeah, the best way to reach me is probably through my website, which is www.onawinghealing.com. From there, you can book an appointment, or you can send an email. Also on there, you have access to my workshops, and I have a children's page and an adult page of workshops. But absolutely any questions, that's probably the best place to start the communication. And then from there, I often just move to text, which is usually quicker, or a phone call, but that's the best place. Mm-hmm. And Nola?
And my website is nola-peacock.com. And again, you can email me through there, or book a Confident Parent Breakthrough session with me, and we can brainstorm ideas to support you. All right, well, let's move on and share some tips to parents. So the 3 keys to reducing meltdowns if you've got a sensitive child. So the first key is acknowledging how your kids are feeling. And I think as parents, sometimes we want to smooth things over. We want to, make things go away sometimes, especially if they're having meltdowns or acting up. But it's so important that you acknowledge how your kids are feeling. So if they're frustrated, acknowledge that. Say, I see you're feeling frustrated. If they're sad, right? Again, let them know that you see that they are struggling, that they are feeling sad. So often I see parents and, kids maybe fall and skin their knee, and they, pick them up and go, "Oh, you're fine, you're fine." But I think, our bodies, our emotions give us so much information, right? I mean, that's part of our intuition, or, messages from our angels, or they can come in our feelings. And so we don't want to brush those off for kids. So it's really important to make sure that we are acknowledging how our kids are feeling. And then the next key is to give them tools, right? So they're having these great big emotions, and, how can they handle those? So, Deb and I teach a workshop together called Honoring Our Sensitive Kids. And we give kids, we teach them different tools. One of them is connecting to their guardian angel or angels. And we also teach them about, some of the archangels, and again, how they can feel their energy and get their support, and which ones are best to ask for, for different situations, which ones to call on. Another thing that we teach them is, sorry, Deb, did you want to add something?
Oh, no. Well, I was just going to say, and sometimes we always tell them, and it's same with the adults, if you don't know which angel to call on, all you do is ask, and the right one's going to step forward. They know who needs to come forward. It's nice to have a name, but it's okay not to. I just wanted to mention that.
Absolutely, you don't have to, and that's such an important point. Thank you for bringing that up. And then the next thing that we teach is grounding, so connecting to Mother Earth. And Deb, do you want to share a bit about grounding with people?
Sure. Actually, it's funny because as soon as we bring it up with the kids, they start to giggle. Any of them that have experienced grounding as punishment, especially the ones that haven't heard that term before. It's quite funny.
Right.
But what we do is, and there again, it's having a physical. So we do a little meditation where they walk down a path, and we go into what does it look like? What are our senses doing? And we actually land up being inside a tree, where they're really feeling safe and really connecting to Mother Earth. And, their feet are growing into the ground and their hands are growing up in the air, and just getting that sense of safety. And then, they come back out of their tree and they come up their path again. And when we bring them out of the meditation, we actually have them draw the tree. And the reason for that is, ideally, we tell them, put it up somewhere where you'll see it. So when you're feeling overexcited or over anxious, or we'll just say like all la 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 kind of idea, then you look at your tree, you take a breath, and just remember what it felt like to be in that tree. And it just brings them down and it grounds them. So that tree is their very own. And we have taught kids as young as 5. Ideally 6 is better, but some kids do really well, and their tree is very simple, but it's enough for them to remember. And then we have our kids that are quite artists, and they've driven, their trees are quite fancy, but it's just to know that that's where I connect, that's where I feel calm, that's where I take my breath, and it grounds them back to Mother Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So the grounding tree. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
And then, next it's about shielding. So we do teach the kids to shield. Shielding's so important. I started teaching kids, before I started doing angel work, I was teaching kids Reiki. And I would teach them the Reiki bubble. Now I teach them the angel bubble with Archangel Metatron to protect, or Michael, to protect their energy. And it's amazing. I used to, when kids are younger, like under the age of 8, you can put them in a rainbow shield, in a bubble, because they're still youth. It's got to do with free will and permission. So you can do it for them for younger kids. But I noticed a big difference with, like my granddaughter. The one time we were going into a market and she was feeling very uneasy, and I just asked Archangel Michael to place a shield, and her demeanor was so much different. She felt way more comfortable being there. So, kids that are sensitive, they get overwhelmed. My one daughter uses the term, it's too peoply in there. And so placing that shield, I really assist them to step onto the playground when it's so full of kids. I know my oldest daughter, she would, actually, I think most of them would avoid a playground if there was too many kids, because it was just too much for them. So, and had I had that tool back then, I think it would have been very different for them. They would have probably interacted more and been able to go into that crowd. And I know for myself, it got me from the back of the room to the front of the room, placing that rainbow shield. So teaching kids to shield is a huge tool for them. And there again, all we do is we ask. We just ask for the rainbow shield to be placed around us. And it's a great visual, seeing, imagining the rainbow colors all around them, protecting them from any energy that will overwhelm them.
Yes.
Anything to add about this?
Well, just how powerful it is. And it's interesting that you said, even before you did the AEP, that you were using it with Reiki, and I was too. I think my angels, before I knew that they were supporting me, intuitively, I would have kids do that. And I know I've worked with a couple of 4-year-olds that had separation anxiety. They were having a really hard time going to preschool. And, I taught them the grounding and shielding. And, it made such a difference for them. So it's, it seems so easy, and it's like, well, how can that make a difference? But I've just seen time and time again how it can really shift things for kids and really help them, feel safer. So yes, so very powerful. So moving on to the third key, and that is to help set your kids up for success so that they're able to do that. So, and this is something that Deb and I do in our workshop, is helping them to create a daily practice. So just like, kids get up in the morning and they, go to the bathroom and wash their face and brush their teeth, having them add on the grounding and shielding, right? And doing things to help remind them. So whether it's, sticky notes, or you could make a little chart for them. Deb mentioned earlier about how important it is for the kids to have something physical. So, we use crystals, right? We infuse that with angel energy, and they can, carry that to school, have it in their backpack or in their pocket as a reminder. They can have those little containers with bubbles just to remind them about shielding themselves in their rainbow bubble. What other kind of things, Deb? Do you have something to add to that?
I know for I love the crystals, because that is a little reminder for sure. There again, we've done a picture, a picture of, they draw a picture of their guardian angel when they do their meditation to meet them. So that's kind of another reminder that they can say hi to their guardian angel every morning on their picture, and just kind of connect with them and remember they're there for them, and connecting with their grounding tree. And and I love the, how we talk about that it's okay to cry. So, we give them a little box of Kleenex with a sticker on there, and that's kind of a reminder that we have feelings and our feelings are valid, and that it's okay to express them, but it's how we do it. And that's something we do cover quite a bit in our workshop, on how do we express our feelings safely and appropriately, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
And then you had mentioned the guardian angel pin. So, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Too. Any things like that. So again, your child best, and just, helping them to be successful, helping them to remember to do these things. And, even if they're upset, and, maybe stomping their feet helps them to deal with their frustration or anger, doing that with them is, something else that's very helpful. So before we go off on our break, I would just like to invite you to try out the grounding and shielding yourself, and with your child or children, if you've got them at home. And then just, notice, pay attention. What is their behavior like, and, their moods, and see. And, I'd pretty much guarantee that you'll notice a difference. It really shifts things. I've seen it over and over. So we are going for a quick break, and when we return, Deb and I will be answering questions and also doing angel card readings. So please call the number on your screen. It's 1-800-930-2819, and one of our producers will connect you directly with us, or you can type into the chat, just letting us know that you want a reading, and include your first name and your location. And or if you have a question, just type that in and we'll get that and answer that. So we are back on the Angel Empowerment Show, from I Can't to I Can, on Transformation Talk Radio. And Deb and I are looking forward to answering your questions and pulling some angel cards for you. First, we'd like to share a bit about the workshop that we do. It's called Honoring Our Sensitive Kids. And our next one is an online workshop on September 17th. And we recommend that kids are, 6 to 12, but we're flexible, because sometimes, as Deb had mentioned earlier, we've had, 5-year-olds that do really well. And certainly if they were a bit older and still wanted to join us, we'd be open to that. We also send out a workbook for the kids, and again, so that they have that physical and something to look back on, so that, refresh their memory, and also, you can look at it as well. We send out crystals for the kids that we use during our workshop. And it also includes, and this is kind of unique, because we include a parent portion. Deb, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So the parent portion was developed by Cindy Smith. So there's a manual that goes with it, and then there's a video that Nola and I and Cindy have done up, and then there's a second video that's just Cindy that we will email to you prior to the workshop. What's nice about the parent portion is it really helps you to assist your children in moving forward with the workshop. Now, like Nola had said, the workshop is online. So, you are able to kind of be there with them if you choose, but it's not necessary. Although because it's online, we do like you to be in the vicinity in case they have technical difficulties. But and normally in person, the parents don't attend. So being online is nice because you can kind of be there. But the video for the parents basically covers everything we're covering in the workshop, but yet more. She goes into quite a bit about language, what language to use with kids. It's amazing how the same message said a different way is more receptive because of the way our minds work. And Cindy does get into some detail about how our three minds work and how they work together. It's fascinating. When I learned that, I thought this was just amazing. And of course, the workbook or the manual is there for you. So the video is there for you forever. The manual is there for you forever to assist you. And then the other thing that I think is also unique is we do have a follow-up question and answer. So it is a live Zoom call with Cindy, myself, and Nola. And that's your opportunity to bring up any of your concerns with your children, any questions about the program. And we do it usually at least a week or two after your children have attended the workshop, so that you've seen how they work with it and you would have a better idea of, you'd have a better idea of what questions you want to ask. Because sometimes if it's so new, you don't even know what questions to ask. And the other thing that we have done is we will open up the Q&A for all past parents, because you can't always make the Q&A that's scheduled. And also something might come up in the meantime and you would just like to share. And even if you don't have any questions, coming on the Q&A after may give you more insight, or some parent may ask a question or bring up a situation they're having with their child that you hadn't thought of, or it happens after and now you have some information on how to handle it. So it's really valuable, and that's what makes it a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And like Nola said, one is online on September 17th. We are limited to how many children we can take, because we want to make sure that we can give each child the personal attention that they would need, even though it's on Zoom. The other thing to be aware is we do like to have them registered. Is the cutoff a week before, Nola? And I think it's a week or
minimum, because we need to be able to mail out the crystals for them and make sure that the kids have them. So the earlier the better.
So exactly. So they get their starter pack of crystals, and we do express mail them out to them, but we like them to have them before the class, because like Nola said, we infuse the angel energy into each crystal. So they have a set of 4. Like for example, when we do the grounding meditation, they have a petrified wood. So not only are they drawing the picture, they also have their petrified wood to throw in their pocket when they know they're going to have a day where they may need some grounding energy throughout their day. So that's when we talk about physical things. So register your child early. We do have another one coming up. I think it's in November, but Nola and I have those both on our website, and so you'll be able to check them out there. Anything else there, Nola?
No, I think you've covered that part very well. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So we have a question from Stephanie, and she said, I would like to know if I have sensitive kids, and when can I start asking them questions about past lives and angels and stuff? So Stephanie, wish I could ask you a few more questions. Just wondering about ages of your kids. As we mentioned earlier, if your kids are, maybe described as too sensitive, or they have really big emotions, reactions to emotions, or tend to kind of sit back, those are definite signs that they are sensitive. And then, I mean, again, you would know your child best, but certainly, you could start, just with a simple question about, oh, what do you think about angels? Or and just see, like, I think what happens is, once kids know that you're open to to them asking questions or saying things, again, if you're not being judgmental, if they're talking about, seeing things, or talking, maybe they're, talking to a grandparent or something that's passed away, and you're like, oh, like, tell me about that, or, what did grandma say, for example, right? As long as they know that it's safe to talk about those things, they're usually very open, I find. So, just, yeah, don't be afraid, I guess, is what I'm saying, Stephanie. Deb, do you want to add anything?
Yeah. So I remember my very, very first Reiki kids class that I taught. And this is before we developed our angel workshop, which took another step further for sure. But I do remember sitting in a circle, and the kids were just telling about themselves. And one little girl says, well, I see things. I see people. And some of the other kids started talking about it, and that's when I went, man, this is why I'm doing this. These kids needed a safe place to share. So allowing them to talk about what they're seeing, and talking, I think, as from the time they were infants, talking about the angels and how the angels are going to keep them safe, and but also I found it interesting when you asked, when can you ask them about past lives? And I remember hearing that it's interesting to ask a child as soon as they can talk. I'll just pretend, Stephanie, you're a child. If I was to say, let's say you're about age 2, maybe they're not quite talking at that age, but you say, Stephanie, who are you before you were Stephanie? And sometimes they'll tell you, because there's a memory there, which I think is fascinating. Right. And if you just get a normal conversation, it's no longer a scary thing. However, having said that, if they are frightened by what they're seeing, that's where an angel empowerment practitioner can assist. We have the ability, and I've done it for my clients' children, gridding a room to keep their visitors out at night. But I think that the most important thing is to allow that communication to open. And then we use Archangel Michael to seal that room. I do it every night still myself. I seal my room because I want to sleep. So, yeah.
Great.
So
yeah.
Reach out. We can certainly help you if it is causing a problem. But sometimes they just have a little friend, and sometimes that little friend keeps them up at night too. And you are, by all, as a parent, able to seal that room, and they can visit their little friend outside of sleep time. Right? Yeah.
Yes, very good point. Yeah. And Stephanie did say that she has a 3-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, both girls. So Stephanie, too, I would, you could start, having maybe coloring pages with angels, right? Just to kind of keep that conversation open and flowing. And also, if they are having issues like sleeping at night or things like that, please reach out to one of us, and we can certainly, help you with, as Deb was saying, helping protect them overnight, but, gridding the room and things like that. So I hope that helps, but please reach out if you have other questions. And we have Donna from BC who would like a reading. Deb, do you want to pull a card?
Sure. We decided to pull out the unicorn deck because it's a fun deck sometimes it's one of the first decks that a child would use, but I use them for adults all the time because they're a fun deck. So let's see. Of course, I don't have a camera, so I will have to describe it to you. So the card is family culture. It's learn about your family stories and history. On the picture, it's showing an Indigenous woman with the horses. I don't know what you call them. It's black and white, but it's a unicorn as well. And there's red in the background. There's kind of stormy seas. So what I'm getting for you is it's like there is some ancestral. So there's a bit of darkness, but yet there's a lot of light. So it's investigating and learning what is in your ancestral background, that what should be brought forward for yourself and this next generation, but also what can I let go of, and what can I learn from the things that need to be let go and left behind. So, and then as you let go of that and bring forward what you want to teach to the next generation, just value it and embrace it and concentrate on that while letting go of the darkness, because we all have darkness in our ancestral background. So letting that go, but bringing the light forward is going to help heal that darkness and continue on in our future generations. So,
beautiful.
are you getting anything out of that, Nola?
Well, I decided I would pull a card as well, and so I'm using the Mermaid deck tonight, and this one is Simplify Your Life, and it says eliminate clutter from your home and work life to balance the flow of activities. And there's this mermaid that's on a swing, and she's looking up and looks very happy and having fun. And that's what I'm drawn to, is that the idea of having more fun. So I think, letting go of your long to-do list at times, and just making sure that you are, taking time for you and doing things that really nurture you and that fill you up, light you up. So that's what I would like to add for Donna. All right. Yeah. And we have a Vanessa from Calgary. I'll pull a card.
Okay.
I love these mermaid cards. Okay. Protection. And I'll just show that for those that are watching. It says, you, your loved ones, and your possessions are safe and protected by heaven. And there's this beautiful mermaid, and she's holding a little baby mermaid. And isn't that perfect for tonight's call? So what I'm getting is just that reminder, I think, that, you are not alone. And I think it's important, just to trust in your own inner guidance, and know, getting like you're being held, like this mother is holding her baby. It's like, the angels are holding you. They've got your back. They're there. And the other thing I just notice is the how simple, like the background is very simple on this card. And so just again, letting go of the busyness in life, and just inviting that ease into your life, and just knowing that you are protected, that the angels have you. So Deb, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, so I pulled a card as well as you were pulling yours, and the one that came up was light. and it's see the light within yourself and everyone else. And it is a golden unicorn, and there is all kinds of light illuminating behind it. It's a very gold looking card. But as you were sharing your information and your message that you were getting, Nola, Vanessa, for you, I was getting the same kind of thing, in that looking within yourself and just looking at the light in yourself, and allow it to grow. Just see it and allow it to grow and start beaming out. You have a lot to offer, and just being in that energy, just remembering that the light is there. Watch it, allow it to grow with intention, and just imagine it beaming out around you to all the people that are around you, and it is going to affect the people around you and how you feel around them, if that makes sense. Beam your light.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. So Deb, I'd like to mix things up a little bit. How about if we do a general card reading for our listeners tonight? Would you like to pull a card and just,
Sure,
for anyone who's listening to this?
All right. The card I pulled, it says, listen to your true feelings. Don't let others talk you into doing something that you know is wrong. It has two unicorns. One is drinking from a river, and the other one's looking up, like it's keeping lookout. And actually, as what's coming to me, and it really, the message that I'm getting really has nothing to do with the words here. It's not about letting others talk you into things. It is about listening to your true feelings, though. It's about really tuning in and listening to your body on when you're making decisions. And because this podcast is a lot to do with sensitive kids, they're telling me it's trusting your own intuition when it comes to dealing with your children, and just for dealing with others around you too. But what feels right? And if it's not feeling right, then it's asking for guidance. Your angels will be there. They want to help you. So if it's not feeling right, think about it, ask them to send you messages. And how it'll come is you'll just come up with another idea, and it's just going to feel a whole lot better. And that's how the angels work. And so they just want to make sure that you're listening to your feelings, you're listening to your intuition when it comes to dealing with others in your life, especially the little people in your life, because they're counting on you to guide them the right way and in a loving, gentle way. But so what feels right? And they want you to follow that path. And like I say, ask for help. They will assist you in giving you new insight, new ideas, or sometimes what'll happen is it'll come from another source. So you ask for ideas and help from your angels. They will bring people into your life, or you will hear something, or somebody will tell a story, and you're like, oh, I'm going to try that. That's a great idea. That's how the angels work. And so that's what they want you to do. Listen to your feelings. If it's not feeling right, ask for help. Somehow you're going to get another idea that's going to work right. It's going to feel better. How about you, Nola?
Beautiful. Well, I'll just quickly just add that, you know, when you are able to trust your intuition, your inner guidance, you can also help your kids to do that. So I think it's very important. So just about time to wrap up here. So I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here and to be open to receiving a message from their angels. Again, if you'd like more information about our workshop, please check out our website. Mine is nola-peacock.com. Deb, yours?
onawinghealing.com.
Perfect. So I want to thank you, Deb, for being here and sharing your great wisdom with all of us. And we both want to thank you for tuning in to Angel Empowerment show from I Can't to I Can on Transformation Talk Radio. We had a wonderful time this evening. And please join us every Monday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 Pacific, and 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And next week, Cindy Smith will be back and joined by Sam Bell, and they are going to be talking about Archangel Raphael, the CEO of Healing. So have a great week, and we will be back next Monday.
Thank you for listening to the Angel Empowerment Show from I Can't to I Can with your host, Cindy Smith, and co-host. Learn to empower you with angelic guidance every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. It's easy to tap into your divine self and trust in your angelic guidance. Let Cindy and co-hosts give you a loving push to explore your potential. For more information, go to cindysmithaep.com. That's cindysmithaep.com.